All right, everybody, and welcome to the Nintendo Pulse podcast, episode number 42. It's weird when this music plays. I always get super chill. Like, I don't want to talk. I just want to kind of just sit here and enjoy the music. It's so bizarre. It's always our host, Lloyd Hannison, and joining me, Stephen Munn. Stephen, how you doing?
I'm doing okay.
Are you chilling out as much as I am over here?
I am. I'm relaxing, going to my happy place.
Good. That's good. That's what I intended by putting this music on.
Sure. I've forgotten all about the show already.
Awesome. So you'll be just like me. Good stuff.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, let's get into the show. Of course, Nintendo Pulse is our weekly Nintendo news show. We talk about all the games, news, give you our reviews, other stuff like that. If you want to get in contact with us, let us know what you think. You can follow us on Twitter. I'm at Dasby on Twitter, and Steven is at Stephen J. Munn on Twitter. And of course, you can check out more at vgpodcast.com. We have a website with forums and contact pages if you want to get in contact with us that way. We want to make it really easy for you guys to get a hold of us, so please do. All right, well, let's get into the show. Steven, how you been?
I've been doing pretty well. My Castlevania blog died a few weeks ago.
Right, you were mentioning that.
Yeah, I managed to figure out what happened to it, and I brought it back, and it's back up and running now. So
awesome. Why don't you give everybody that URL so they can check it out?
It's www.castlemaniablog.com.
Castlemaniablog.com. So good, you got all your content back, or did you lose some of it?
The last backup I had was from February of 2009.
Right.
Yeah. So
that's
everything.
That's a couple years ago. That's about 3 years ago, 4 years ago, depending on when. Yikes.
So 4 years of content was lost, and right around the time that I did that last backup, I started writing. I was writing some more on aeropause.com. So a bunch of my Castlevania content that I posted ended up on both sites.
Okay.
So all my review copies for all the games that I got were coming through Aeropause. So all those reviews had to go on there as well. So the reviews of Lords of Shadow and Castlevania the Adventure, Rebirth, and Harmony of Despair, and all the Castlevania games basically that came out since 2009. All those reviews are saved because they were on there, and announcement trailers, release dates, anything like that anybody would really, who's not a super Castlevania fan, would want to see. All of that stuff is still there, but the really hardcore, nutty, you have to be an idiot to have any interest in this kind of posts were lost.
Okay.
I was able to bring a bunch of them back, though. A bunch of even those back from cache, like Google Cache places.
Right.
And the Wayback Machine.
I was going to say, did you check the Wayback Machine? That's probably... I was able to recover 6 months of my personal blog way back in the day. Just by chance, I found all that stuff on the Wayback Machine, which was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was cool. I don't know how it determines when to take snapshots.
Yeah, I don't. It's a weird little machine that just kind of, like, I don't know, scurries around in the background of the internet and just kind of snags things. I don't even know how they can store all that stuff. Like, I saw a huge interview with the people that run it, and it's just like, all right, it's like 3 people in their spare time with donated cash and hardware, and it's just like, wow. All right, cool.
Yeah. So I'm missing like everything I posted for the past year for the most part. But before that, it gets a little spotty, and then by the time you get to 2009, I have most of it, I think, back.
Okay, well, that's better than the last time we talked, where it was just like, "Yep, it's all gone. I'm kind of done with the whole thing." I'm glad that you I'm glad you took another stab at it, because it would suck to lose all that work that you did. I mean,
yeah, I think I was kind of pretending that I didn't care. I was in denial. I was in shock.
Yeah, been there, done that for sure. Mm-hmm. Cool. Awesome. Well, let's get into the show. Steven, what have you been playing over the last week or so?
For the most part, the only thing I've been playing on my 3DS is Paper Mario Sticker Star, and I think I'm pretty much stuck. I keep getting stuck in the game, which I guess makes sense. It's about stickers. But
Yes.
um,
Nice.
it's thanks. You'd think I planned that, but I didn't. It's it's a fun game, but it's a little weird. The fact that everything is a consumable. It's a little strange.
Yeah. That's kind of my biggest problem with it. Like, you get all these like super awesome looking shiny stickers, and you don't really want to use them because you know that they're gone once you use them, and then you save them up for a boss battle, and it's like, oh, that was the best thing ever. Oh yeah, I only had one. I can never use it again unless I find another one of those cool things.
Yeah. I've been going through the sticker museum, so that's even worse because I'm using them for nothing.
Yeah, I did the same thing too. I got this weird OCD about like in-game collections, and so the first thing I'd get a new sticker, and I'd run there and I'd put it in. It's like, oh yeah, it's on the wall. I probably could have used it for something better, but it's on the wall. Whatever.
But there it is. I can come back and look at it anytime I want to, which I won't do.
And I can move my 3DS and see all the light dance across the foil
oh my
of
God,
the sticker.
that's such an amazing effect. I love it.
It's pretty awesome. So Sticker Star, I played it. I got about halfway through, I guess, and before other things kind of jumped out, and I kind of put it away for a little bit. What do you think of the whole world, like kind of layout of the game? I don't know. I kind of liked it at the start, and then I found it kind of annoying, like, especially with worlds that had hidden exits that took me forever to find to get to the next one.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I don't think I've unlocked any new worlds. I've only seen the beginnings of the first 3 worlds,
Right.
And I can't go anywhere with the north direction. I can't go anywhere with the west direction. I went a little bit to the east and a little bit to the south. I got to the castle.
Right.
In the south, and I can't figure out how to get through the Goomba Castle.
Yeah, I got stuck there too. I used a fact to get through that dungeon as much as I didn't want to because I was just ripping my hair out.
I have to call that poor design.
Yeah, totally. You'd think that, especially on a Nintendo game, which, not to say that all Nintendo games are for kids, but they're designed for all age levels to enjoy it. This one seems to be a little bit more hardcore than you'd expect from a Nintendo. Like, especially with all the Marios and everything that have been out recently, where you die 5 times and you get the nice bright and shiny block that says, "Here, let me beat the level for you." This one seemed very punishing for some reason.
Definitely agree. But that's really it. I haven't gone back to Mirror of Fate, though. Now that my blog is back up, I really feel like I need to go back to Mirror of Fate.
Right.
I saw on Twitter that you beat it. And
yeah.
The credits were really longer than the game.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess we'll get into a little bit of what I've been playing. I'll start with Castlevania. I decided to soldier on and kind of beat it. To hopefully beat it before Luigi's Mansion came out. I didn't do that. I beat it yesterday, which would be Wednesday the 27th. So just a couple days past when I wanted to. And I don't know, you were stuck in Act 2 with one of the bosses. And I was stuck for a while on one of the bosses. And for some reason, I just perfect him once. Like I was missing, I was dodging out of some fluke because the way that the hit detection is done, and you hit the button to jump, and there's like a split-second delay before you actually jump, so you get hit. Yeah. And for some reason, I was feeling it, and I beat like the second to last boss with like almost losing no energy, and I was like, all right, this is awesome. And then I beat the final boss of Act 2, and it was tough, but not impossible. And then I got to Act 3, where some really interesting little story bits happen. You take do you want to? Should I say who it is? I guess everybody knows who's in the game. Like, they kind of talked about it on the box, where it's Simon, Trevor, and Alucard is the 3 main playable characters. So you play Trevor Belmont in the Act 3, and after being so powerful with Alucard, like with the double jump and all the other stuff, I was like, oh, I don't want to go start another character again. But you do, and quickly you get like extended jumps and other quick power-ups, and I was just starting to feel my way through the level, and then next thing you know, I'm fighting the end boss. It's like, oh, that was really quick. And then I beat the boss on the first try with no problems. I had like 75-80% of my life left. It's like, okay, so all of the main the mid bosses are tougher than the end boss on the last act. There's something really sort of flawed with the design of this game. I don't know. And then you beat the game and you watch this 20-minute credit scroll in the really horrible font that this game uses. And then it says, beat the game on 100% to get more story. It's like, okay, well, I don't really want to play this game anymore. So I guess I'm going to have to YouTube whatever that final story bit is, because I don't think I want to play this game anymore. It just wasn't that good.
Yeah, I have to agree with that.
Very disappointing. I mean, I'm glad I played it. I don't think it's I don't think it's me thinking that I wasted my money. I'm really glad that that I played it, but it's not Castlevania to me. Like it has some of the tropes of Castlevania and some of the sort of things that you would do in a Castlevania game, but it wasn't a Castlevania game. Just the controls in Castlevania have always been like spot on. Like even on the NES, like when you jumped. When you hit the attack button, you hit the attack button. On this one, it seems like there's delays and things just don't trigger sometimes. Yeah. Don't really know why that is, but yeah. So yeah, Castlevania lost Moff, as you said, which I can't stop saying now. I don't know. It was interesting. If someone's like curious about playing a Castlevania that is a little bit like I don't know, like a Devil May Cry or a God of War, where there's a lot more like kind of visceral kind of action when you're in battles, you might want to pick this one up. You might want to wait for a sale though. I think the full $40 price is a little bit much. The game is flawed in many ways. Excuse me. And it kind of ends, as I said, really abruptly, which I didn't quite like. But yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of glad I played it. I guess we'll leave it there.
Yeah, and I'll work on it eventually. I'll get through it and then I'll write a review.
Yeah, once you get past that boss, it's kind of easy sailing for the rest of the game, which is good, I guess. I also beat LEGO City Undercover. I beat all the missions, and I'm working on 100%ing the game by finding all 350 unlockable characters, all 112 vehicles, all 40 red bricks, all 450 gold bricks. There's a lot of stuff in this game. But
350 playable characters?
Yeah, there's 350 different character skins that you can unlock in the game. You do that you find the tokens just floating in the levels sometimes, in the open world, or in the missions. Sometimes you have to do things like there'll be 3 objects in a specific burg of LEGO City that are silver. So you have to find the proper color paint to paint them with your paint gun, or you could find the red brick that unlocks the power that your paint gun fires all colors, so it automatically does it. You don't have to find things, which is what I highly recommend because it's really annoying looking for the paint stations. But if you paint those 3 things, sometimes it'll unlock a character. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff in this game. There's like I'm unlocking the flying vehicles now, and I unlocked this really sweet UFO, so I can fly around LEGO City in this really great UFO and stuff like that. I don't know. I reviewed this game on the bonus stage. I talked about it a lot last Nintendo Pulse. This is a must-own. This is almost a system seller to some people. If you have a Wii U, you need to own this game. It is probably one of the best titles available on the console right now. It's an open world game. It's like Grand Theft Auto, but it's nice. It's like sanitized. You're not going around shooting people in the face and stealing their cars. You ask nicely to take their cars. It's a very Canadian game, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. May I please have your car, sir? Thank you. But yeah, I really love this game. Like, I actually ordered the strategy guide because my kids like going through strategy guides lately, and my son's starting to read a lot more. So I'll buy strategy guides for his favorite games because it encourages him to read them, and he likes it. I'd beaten the game and gotten to like 74% unlocked by the time the strategy guide came because it took a few days because of the weekend, which was kind of disappointing. But yeah, my son is just really loving it. Game's a little bit complex for him to control just because of all the character switching, but he's starting to get a hang of it. He's much more of a single character platformer kind of guy. He likes playing as Mario and stuff like that. But yeah, this game's good. I'm super glad, and I wish there was another one coming out next month because I'd love to dive back into another LEGO City. It was that great of an experience for me.
Oh, cool.
Excuse me. And also, I picked up, as I said, Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon. I did the digital download on the day that it was available. So Sunday Saturday at about 11 p.m. my time, which was, I guess, Sunday, wherever Nintendo servers are. I refreshed the eShop and it was there. So I went and started the download. And then for some reason I had insomnia, so I woke up at like 2 in the morning and I was like, oh, there's no way it's done because Nintendo's eShop downloads are often slow. I opened it open I flipped it open and sure enough it was there. So I ended up playing like an hour in the middle of the night and then I said, no, I better get to bed. So, and that was about all that I touched it until yesterday and today. So I've been playing through that. The game is divided into 5 different mansions from what I understand. I've completed the first mansion and hidden in each level is a Boo, so like a Mario Boo character. It's not a spoiler because one of the missions you actually have to find that Boo, and then you find out that there's one of those guys hidden in every submission of the mansion. So there's five submissions to every mansion, so there's 5 hidden Boo characters. So I spent all the rest of this afternoon going back through all the levels trying to find the hidden Boo characters, and when you do, they unlock a secret level, which really is just a kind of a time trial where you have access to the full mansion. You have to go and bust ghosts all over the place, but really, really digging the game. The humor, the little kind of actions and sounds that Luigi makes. Like I have fond memories of playing the first Luigi's Mansion, just with all the amazing scared sounds that Luigi would make and kind of make you kind of feel what he was thinking, sort of stuff. This game kind of takes that and ramps it up. Like he'll start singing to the theme music that's playing in the background. Like he jumps, he trips, like he'll trip over a loose piece of carpet, but he doesn't do it every time that you walk by that area. So Nintendo's done a really amazing I don't know, thing with this game where they've kind of made Luigi a good character. I mean, he's always been kind of like the backup guy, and even in Luigi's Mansion, he really wasn't the character. Your vacuum ghost sucker was kind of the character that you're playing. Like Luigi was kind of flat. In this game, they've kind of really given him a personality that really kind of stands out, and I've been digging it, and been playing through the game like crazy, as I said. So I'm ready to jump into all the other towers and get going on this game. It's a lot of fun, and I'm really, really glad that I did pick this one up. Cool. So that's about it. Anything else?
He did the singing thing in the first game too.
Yeah, he did every once in a while, but this just, I don't know. It just, I guess with all of his other character quirks, like it just fits. Like it just works for some reason. In the game, the mad scientist guy whose name is escaping me right now, he calls you on your little voice. He basically Skypes you or whatever, but your little communication thing is a little DS, but it's like the DS Fat, like the original DS, and you flip it open, but when he calls you, that's right. Oh, that's Steven in the chat room. I was going to say someone in the chat room told me, but it was you, Steven. You could have interrupted me. I don't mind. Yeah, Professor Egad. That's right. He'll call you and has this like really amazing little ringtone that plays, and I'll sometimes just sit there and let the ringtone keep playing because it's really cool. I wish I could download it from my phone so I could annoy people with how awesome it is. Yeah, really love the game. Definitely, if you're into the first Luigi's Mansion, this one's better from what I've played than that one. I can't wait to get a little bit further in the game so I can maybe give you guys a review next week.
Cool.
All right, well, let's excuse me, let's move on. Notable releases for this week. It's kind of a light week with Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon coming out on Sunday. I guess a lot of game developers didn't want to compete with that one. The only really other decent game, from what I understand, I haven't played it, but I hear it's getting okay reviews, is Harmonite, which is the rhythm action adventure platforming game that came out. It hit the eShop this week, but it's $15, so it's not cheap. But it's a Game Freak game, so you know it's going to be at least decent. So if you're into that type of stuff, you might want to check out Harmonite on the eShop.
Yep, there's a demo.
Yeah, there's a demo as well. I downloaded it, but I haven't played it. Have you played the demo?
No, but a friend of mine did and was making little swap notes, advising us to do the same. Okay. Oh, cool. So yeah, definitely check that one out. Download the demo first to see if it's worth the 15 bones, excuse me, that you're going to be paying for this one. But it's a Game Freak game, so you know it's going to be.
decent.
Cool.
All right, well, let's get into the news. First up, Nintendo released a 3DS system update, and this one's more meaty than the normal Nintendo 3DS updates, which are bug fixes and security upgrades, is what they kind of say in the little patch notes. Basically, they're trying to find other ways to combat piracy or whatever other security things that they might have found on the console. This one is actually kind of a major update. They're calling it version 5.0. Actually, it's 5.0.0-11U, but it's easier to say 5.0. And this one does a couple interesting things. One of the weirdest quirks that I've ever noticed on a Nintendo platform of anything, like handhelds or desktops, or consoles, is the fact that the first time that I downloaded a game from the Nintendo eShop, it said, do you want to download now or download later, when they added that functionality. So I hit download later, and then I closed my 3DS and I put it on the charger, and I came back the next day, opened it up, and quit to the home screen and saw that there was a nice little present. So click the present, and it was at 0%. It hadn't downloaded at all. And I'm like, what the hell? It was there for a whole 24-hour period. Why didn't it download? Well, I didn't know that you had to actually quit the Nintendo eShop initially. Once I learned that, I was like, okay, it makes sense. It is the stupidest thing that I've ever seen, but it makes sense. So from then on, every time that I'd download a game, I'd quit the eShop app and close my 3DS, charge it, and then it would be downloading games in the background. Nintendo's fixed that. So sleep mode even takes effect when you're in the eShop, which is really nice. And they've also made it so it's quicker. So it's I guess it's using more I don't know, of your processor or whatever to download these things. It's your system is not in such a deep sleep when these downloads are happening. So that's kind of a nice thing. They've also released the save data tool, which if you have a physical cart and you want to use the save game from that physical cart with your 3DS eShop download, you can do that now by downloading that other tool as well. So other things like that, a nice little thing, the eShop font now matches that of the Wii U, so that's an important update. I'm really glad Nintendo did that. Really glad to see Nintendo has their eyes on the details. I might be being facetious, I'm not sure.
Actually, I think it is kind of a big deal, and I think all of these things, and the item that we're going to get to later about the Wii U menu update, these to me look like really good signs from their merging their hardware teams. Yeah,
that's the one note that I was going to say. Like I really love what they're doing with the OS, and I'm glad that they're making things better. And I'd really like to see a lot more, synergy between both OSs, maybe making them look a little bit more like, maybe make them function a little bit better. But yeah, it's definitely a step in the right direction. So yeah, a great update for your 3DS, so you don't accidentally leave your system hoping to play Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon and closing your 3DS and coming back in 8 hours and then realizing that it hasn't downloaded 1K because your eShop didn't transfer any data.
Yeah.
That's fixed now, thank goodness. All right, moving on. So remember how we were talking about Shovel Knight last week, Steven?
Yes, you said he was a knight with a shovel.
Yeah, and you could bounce on it, kind of like Scrooge McDuck in Ducktales, and how we said how much we love that game, and it's probably one of the best platformers that had come out. Have fond memories of it. I don't know if Nintendo or Disney and Way Forward were listening to our podcast, but I'd like to think that they were, because they a few days later released details that Ducktales Remastered is coming out later this year for PS3, 360, and the Nintendo Wii U eShop. So
that's probably coming to PC as well.
And probably PC as well. So yeah, DuckTales is coming out, and it's not just a port. It's a redone version. They've basically taken all of the locations and they've basically redone it in 3D, and they've taken all the sprites and they've redrawn them. Similar to what Way Forward did with their Swap Force on the
Mighty Switch Force,
Mighty Switch Force on the Wii U, where things look amazing. They look like actual like cell shaded or cell animation. Really, really big sprites. It looks really great. They've kind of done the same thing with Ducktales, where they've redrawn everything to make it look better than the pixelated NES 8-color palette with Scrooge McDuck wearing an orange on his thing instead of blue. I guess that was all you could do at the time. It looks really good. Some other big things about this one is they're adding levels. They're changing the boss battles to make them more modern, so it's not just pattern. Okay, boss is dead. They're adding different phases to a lot of the boss battles, and they're getting back all of the original voice talent that worked on the TV show that is still alive.
It's done. In fact, I thought they said that it was done. They've actually already recorded all the dialogue, and it's a good thing because the guy who does Scrooge's voice, Alan Young, I think is his name.
Okay.
He's in his early 90s.
Oh, so. Wow. That's crazy. So yeah, that's awesome. So I'm going to have to go back and maybe buy some of the DuckTales on DVD. I saw them at Future Shop the other day, where they have seasons 1 and 2. I'm going to have to pick them up and share those with my kids.
Cool.
I love the cartoon. Love the game. This is huge. This is huge for us.
Yeah, and the background art was is all done by one of the artists from the DuckTales TV series who painted those background. He did all the back. This guy did all the background art for this, and the trailer that they showed had a guy singing the DuckTales theme song. And it sounded like it was the same guy, but a different performance of it, and much higher fidelity than you would get from an old DVD or video cassette. So it sounds to me like they re-recorded the theme song and everything. So
it's amazing. They're
really going all out,
which is good. Nothing could be worse than a cheap cash in with something like this, because it's I guess it's one of the games that game designers have kind of cited often that it's probably one of the best examples of platforming. Actually, in their launch trailer,
the quotes in the trailer were really funny. Yeah.
It was great.
The last one was.
Yeah, it was like Cliff Blazinski or something. Why do you keep emailing me for quotes? Something along those lines. Anyway,
it was Tim Schafer. Please stop emailing me.
Oh, that's right. It was Tim Schafer, which makes it even funnier because you could see him totally like straight facing that in person. But yeah, it's great. Here, I'm gonna see if I can play some of the music from the trailer. They're doing the sing along. Here, ready, sing along. Life is like a hurricane here in Duckburg. So they're obviously you can't see it even on the live stream, but definitely go to YouTube and check out the DuckTales remastered trailer, the reveal trailer. It just looks so good. It looks really good. I don't know what else I can say about it. It's about everything that I would have wanted from a redone version of DuckTales. Not a quick cash in. Makes me think about all the other really awesome Disney NES titles that could be remastered, like Tailspin and Chip 'n Dale's Rescue Rangers.
Yeah, they mentioned Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers.
I would love to see that one.
They said if this did well, then they would go on and do that next.
Yes, I'm gonna buy copies on every console just so they are more inclined to do that. I can't wait. I just wish it was out now. Apparently they've been working on this one for a couple years, and I saw some game journalists that I guess were in the know has said, "Oh, I thought this thing was dead a year and a half ago." I'm glad to see that it finally came out. So I guess either Way Forward or has been working on it, or maybe there was other developers before them that were working on it. But I'm just really happy that it is coming out. So I'll post a link to the reveal trailer in the show notes so you can check it out. But yeah, DuckTales coming out. We called it without knowing that we were calling it. That's kind of weird. Alrighty, let me just get this one in here. I'm just going to post the YouTube so I don't have to find it later. All right, moving on. This one's really kind of bizarre. I guess the Wii U isn't doing so good, Steven. We've talked about it before. People don't know what the Wii U is. They think it's just a Wii, and I already have a Wii. Why do I need the Wii U? That's $300. Doesn't make sense. Well, Nintendo realizes this, and they're trying to combat it with a leaflet that they're giving to like distributors and game stores. And it's one of those like really lame leaflets that has like a column of
God,
check marks.
No. I don't even want to see it.
So it's a whole column of check marks, and then the column beside it has a couple dots. So it's things like plays Wii games, and there's a check mark and a dot by the Wii, because you wouldn't want to say, yes, the Wii plays Wii games, because that makes sense. But why would you want to do that? You might cannibalize some sale. Plays Wii U games. Of course, there's no dot in the Wii column. Has Netflix and Hulu Plus. Yes, of course, the Wii has it, but there's just a dot there. And it goes all the way down, like Nintendo TV, Wii U Chat, uses the Wii U gamepad. Like all these really bizarre things. Plays games online, uses Wii U accessories. Like it doesn't really talk about what the powers of the system are. Browse the internet during gameplay, because anybody really wants to do that. Up to 1080p HD graphics. Well, maybe that's something. And off TV play, because anybody browsing in like a Best Buy that grabs a leaflet would know what that means. It's like off TV play.
Right.
What does that mean? I don't know. This is like one of the weirdest things I've ever seen a console manufacturer do. It almost seems like some Samsung ads that they used to do when they were like early on in the Galaxy. It was Galaxy 1 or Galaxy S2, where they were trying to say what the Galaxy does more than the iPhone. And they had similar things like this. Like, we have a 2 gigahertz dual core processor. The iPhone has, we don't know, they won't tell us. Like, it's just like these weird specs and things that no one really even cares about. And Nintendo's doing that to fight themselves, which is really, really bizarre. Yeah. And yeah, Prometheus in the chat room says, and wasn't off TV play the last in the list? Yeah, it was the last one in the list, which is probably the best reason to own a Wii U over any other console if you like that kind of gameplay.
I wonder if it's a thing where they send out this leaflet with all these instructions. They're like, okay, and we're going to put off the last item on the list. We're going to put off TV play. So when you get to the bottom of that list, when you're telling someone and they go off TV play, what's off TV play? You're already done with the flyer. You can throw it over your shoulder and then give them the whole spiel about how great off TV play is, exactly what it is, and then you can show them. Yeah. Then they'll buy a Wii U.
Totally.
Item 3, profit.
Totally. And for me, it underscores why calling it the Wii U is the stupidest thing that they could have done. They should have had a different name for it. Call it the Revolution. Call it something different. And I was in Best Buy browsing around, and there was a family looking at Wii U's and other things, and I heard the dad say, "Hey, do you guys have one of these Wii suitcase things?" And my ears kind of perked up, and I looked over, and he's looking at a Wii U deluxe kit, just the empty box, and he's looking at the logo, and I guess the U in the box does kind of look like a suitcase, so I could see where he's coming from. This is just some guy off the street is calling it the Wii suitcase. He's like, what is this for? How come it's so expensive? What is it for? And I was just like, wow, all right. This is like a total marketing fail. I don't think it could have gone worse for Nintendo. I hope they can salvage it, because I really do like the console. I love LEGO City. I love a lot of the other games that I've played. I really hope it does good. It does well, because it doesn't seem to be going very well right now.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah. So go get yourself one of those Wii suitcases. They're great, I hear.
I already have one.
You have one?
I've got one of those Wii suitcases. It's awfully small, though. The box made it look nice and big, but it's not very big.
I have one. All it holds is one disc. That's not much of a suitcase. Like I'm going to be traveling with a lot more than that.
Definitely.
Ugh, whatever. All right, moving on. Nintendo showed off what is probably one of the biggest feature upgrades that they've done on the Wii U this week, and that is their much promised and highly anticipated faster to Wii U home screen patch, whatever they're calling it. Steven, you've seen the video? You put the news item in the list. It's pretty striking how fast it is.
Yeah, it went from about a 30 seconds, which is crazy.
Yeah, to go from what the demo that they used,
5 seconds.
Yeah, exactly. The demo that they used in the video that they showed was going from New Super Mario Wii U to basically at the main menu, and then hitting the Wii U button at the same time, and then hitting close software, and then timing how long it takes to go from that screen to the Wii U screen, the Wii U home screen. And yeah, it was like 30 seconds for the Wii running the current firmware, and like 5 seconds, like you said, Steven, with the new patch. Like, that's huge, and I don't understand why it takes so long to begin with. Like, even to turn on, like, you turn on your Wii U, and it's at the screen with those like kind of floaty objects in the background for a few seconds, and then it comes up with like that checking window with the little spinny thing, and it's like, what do you do? What are you checking for? Can't you check some other time? Don't check now. I want to play a game.
Check in the background.
Check when you're sleeping. You check when I'm sleeping. Don't check now.
Right.
Yeah, it's bizarre. I hope this patch does that kind of speed up for all sorts of things, because even like I get a little the little flashy notification when someone posts something on MiiVerse when I'm playing a game, and I almost don't want to check, because I know that I'll want to go see what was said on MiiVerse, and then it will take like 30 seconds to load MiiVerse, and then depending on network bandwidth, it'll take a few seconds, 10, 15 seconds to load all the stuff. Then I go to my notifications and I see that it was just a to one of my things. It's like, oh, that was a good use of time. And then I go back to my game. It's like a minute out of my life is gone just for checking a notification, where on like Xbox Live, it's like home screen, messages, oh, there's my message, okay, hit the home button, boom, I'm back in the game. Nintendo has a lot of work left to do, but this is a great step in the right direction, and it was good to see. I guess more along the lines of the MiiVerse, something that would probably make me happy in the interim is Nintendo has announced at GDC that their mobile applications for the MiiVerse social network, as they're calling it, I don't know how social it is, but all right, is going to be coming soon. They're saying probably April or May. They haven't released a firm date, but it will be soon. So this will be a smartphone app, a tablet app, something that you can load on your Android or iOS device, and you can basically interact with MiiVerse either while you're in a game or while you're away from a game, and you don't have to worry about minute-long pauses while you get from one to the other. So I'm happy about that. It's all these things, like we're going to get into the next story, but these are all things that they promised right when they did the big unveil before the system launched, and they're slowly trickling out. It's really kind of surprising. The next thing that we were going to talk about is Netflix has finally come to Nintendo TV. So if you do a search on Nintendo TV now, it looks for Netflix data if you have a Netflix account active on your system. So if you're searching for a TV show, you'll be able to see if it's available on Netflix as well. Another thing that they promised for day one, I mean, Nintendo TV wasn't day one to begin with when it was supposed to be, and then this was supposed to be a day one feature for Nintendo TV. So I don't know what's happening. Maybe, I don't know, creating a system and OS used by a million people is a lot more difficult than Nintendo anticipated. I don't understand how that could be. A lot of moving parts, I would say.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Do you use Nintendo TV? I know we chatted about it a while ago. Do you use it at all?
No, I don't.
I used it once by accident, and I was really angry that I hit that button. With the difficulties that I had setting up my cable provider, it's not right even now. I don't get it. If it launched the way it was supposed to launch day one, where you do a search for a TV show, it looks at your DVR, it looks at your TV schedule, it looks at your Netflix and Hulu Plus and everything else, I might have actually used it. But even now, yeah, not something that I really want. Nintendo actually sent out some emails and tweets talking about following the Final Four March Madness type, all the brackets on Nintendo TV, and it's just like, really? That's how you're trying to get people to use your Nintendo TV, by looking at basketball matchups? Like, it's not even that usable. I don't see how that would even work. Kind of a failed part of the OS, I would think.
I have to agree.
All right, we'll move on. Let's get to the last story for this week, and that is Ubisoft has launched a patch for ZombiU, which is kind of amazing. I didn't think this would be coming, especially so late after launch. And this is a patch that fixes a lot of the kind of game-ending bugs that people were encountering. They get to one part of the game and they just couldn't really move forward at all. So included in this update are the Mission 12 nursery glitch, which basically the door won't open or it was missing if you did certain things in the game. They fixed that. They fixed mission 13, mission 14, mission 15, mission 10, another mission 15, and then on mission 16. So a lot of stuff. So if you played the game, excuse me, and run into one of this game-ending bugs where you're really angry, you might want to try loading up your save game again. And it's a small patch. It's around like 18 megs, so just go download it if you own the game and see what happens. They've added some different animations and online messages and basically everything where I guess people were finding little graphical glitches and things like that. They've done that. They've updated or made the frame rate. They've optimized that a little bit as well. So this is a really good patch, and this is really the first game that's received a patch like this. There's been some other smaller patches I've noticed, but nothing that's really fixed some serious errors. So I don't know, maybe the Nintendo patch process isn't as onerous on this console. Maybe this means that people like, I don't know, EA can release some DLC and patches for games like Mass Effect 3, which a lot of people are really wanting to see. But anyway, if you own ZombiU, you might want to get this patch as well before you start up again with another survivor. Hopefully it'll make things work a little bit better. Not your favorite game there, Steven?
I don't have ZombiU. I downloaded the demo, but I never ended up even trying it.
Yeah, it was fun. I played a heck of a lot of it when the system launched, and then I would repeatedly die, and then have to go all the way from the starting area all the way to almost the end area of the game to recover my body, and then I would die again before getting my body, and then all my stuff would be gone, and then you'd have Sad Lloyd who would go pout and and leave the game for another day, and then I don't know, after a while those other days just never came, and I haven't really touched it again after a little while. So maybe I'll dig it out and have another play at it to see what it's like. But yeah, it was a really great game. I'm glad I experienced it, even though I didn't actually complete it. All right.
I think I would find it too discouraging.
Yeah, it is kind of hard. It's like a roguelike kind of thing where you get so far and then you have to start again, but there's a chance to go get things from your body if you're good at doing stuff like that. It's kind of like that, which was kind of cool. The whole seeing your survivor and you have to go kill yourself, your old self with your new self was kind of neat the first few times that happened. Then it would just get annoying after a while. So yeah, it was fun. Maybe I'll get back to in a I don't know, sometime when there isn't any other games to play. And we've had an embarrassment of riches these days with Nintendo titles, so I don't know when that day will come. All right, man. I think that's gonna do it for this episode. Unless you have anything else to add, any other Nintendo coolness that you want to talk about?
Did you want to talk about the Nintendo emulators that are going to launch on the Ouya?
No, I didn't hear about that.
No. The Ouya is launching soon. That is the $99 Android
source
home console.
Yeah, the open source console is what they're calling it.
And Ouya's store has apparently, according to the Ouya people and according to the people who developed the emulators, that approval process is already underway and complete for these emulators to appear on that store. So it's going to be filled with pirated games, apparently.
Well, it'll be filled with the routes to play pirated games.
I mean the systems, people's systems will be full of pirated games.
Wow, that's my Ouya is coming sometime soon, I'm sure. I pre-ordered it, or I backed it, so when they start shipping at the end of March, which it is, so they should be shipping soon. I can't wait to get it. But yeah, that'll be interesting. I'll have to check that out. Things like the NES and the Super Nintendo, you can you can pretty much legally emulate them without certain. If you own one and you're able to scrape certain ROMs, like certain BIOS files yourself, or you can download them. I guess there's a fair use kind of gray area there, because all the chips that are used in the systems are kind of off the shelf things, and there really is no OS, so to speak, like a current system that has like a huge OS that kind of runs the system. But when you get to things like the N64, I mean, that's a lot of custom hardware that Nintendo worked on, a lot of custom silicone. That gets a little bit more dicey. So I good luck. I'm sure lawsuits from Nintendo or takedown notices or something will be coming fast and furious, because Nintendo loves to do stuff like that.
I don't know how they can do that though. I mean, I think like you said, the emulation software itself, there's nothing illegal about emulators.
Yep.
It's the ROMs that are the problem, because that's a copyright violation.
Yeah, I mean, if you own the game, sure, go download it. That's fine. But I would say 99.9% of all use of emulators is not people that are playing a game that they own in cartridge form. It's people downloading a favorite game that they played over at a friend's house and re-experiencing it. So yeah, we'll see what happens. I'll definitely check it out. I'm really curious to see what the Ouya is going to be like, but I didn't know. I'm gonna have to dig up one of those articles. I must have missed that one when I was flying through all my gaming news.
I mean, it's not that surprising, because anybody who has an Android device, the Google's own Play Store is filled with emulators, and it's really easy to the NES emulator
on actual Google Play, really.
Yeah, right on the Google Play Store, NES emulators, Genesis emulators, everything.
That's not so surprising then. I thought Google wouldn't have approved those, but you'd have to sideload them from another store or just as a download.
No, they're all right on there.
Oh, okay. Well, then that makes sense. People are just recompiling all the things that they've already started selling on other Android stores.
Yep, just pre-configure it for the Ouya controller, and you're all set.
That's kind of makes the Ouya kind of your perfect little emulator console, if that's the type of thing you want to do. You put in an SD card or whatever type of storage it supports, and load it up with your favorite games and connect it to your television. Yay, piracy!
Do we have enough time to talk about the Retron 5?
Yeah, I was gonna bring it up. I didn't know if you wanted to chat about that. I was gonna order a Retron 3, but I'm now waiting to get a Retron 5. I am really excited about this. We talked about it on bonus stage a little bit about what it could be. That was when it was supposed to be called the Retron 4, but they made it one better.
They did.
So
one more than 4.
Yes, exactly. So the Retron.
I can't wait to get one.
The Retron 5 is really cool. Steven, you brought it up. You want to talk about it?
Sure. Well, I have a Retron 3. The manufacturer sent me one when those came out to review for Aeropause, and it's a really cool little device. It is the 3 refers to 3 cartridge slots in the top of the system.
Yep.
The Retron 3 plays NES, Super NES, and Sega Genesis games. It does a really good job of the Genesis and the Super NES games, and it does a reasonably good job of NES games, and it's compatible with a lot of the games that the other NES on a chip, other NES clone hardware,
right? Like the Duo, the Retro Duo.
Yeah, the Retro Duo had trouble with a lot of those NES games, like Castlevania 3 and stuff like that. But those all work on the Retron 3. The sound is a little weird, but it's that sound emulation for the NES is really, really difficult.
Right.
They used so many tricks to produce percussion on there that it's just like nuts. So what they were doing is this was in Las Vegas, right? They were they were about to unveil the Retron 4. And the guy was in there. I saw a video of the unveiling. He was in there. He actually had the screen up behind him, and it said Retron 4 on it. It says, "Oh, we're not unveiling the Retron 4 today. Instead, we're unveiling the Retron 5." So it's got let's see, it's got 4 slots on the top and 1 on the front. Yep. And it's NES, Famicom, Super NES, and Sega Genesis on the top. And then I would assume the Super NES slot also will do Super Famicom games. Right. And of course the Genesis slot does Mega Drive games. And the little slot on the front does GBA, Game Boy Color. So with 5 slots, you've got 9 platforms.
Which is absolutely insane.
Yeah.
And the best part about this thing is it's this big monstrosity. It actually looks really cool. It's just like this black obelisk. It comes with its own Bluetooth controllers that have 6 buttons, or I guess 8 buttons, because they have the SNES kind of shoulder pad buttons.
Yep.
But the coolest, so that's cool. It has those controllers, so you can play games like that. But it has actual controller slots. So if you want to plug in your actual controllers, you can do that as well.
Just like the 3 did.
Exactly. But the best part about this one is it runs its own OS, and it has an HDMI port. So you plug it into your current like 60-inch flat screen television, which you can't plug an S in or Super Nintendo in very easily without some crazy scan converter and all these other devices, which don't really work all the time. You plug it in, and then you adjust kind of your screen size using the on-screen controls that come up with the OS that's built into it. And you're playing all of your actual game cartridges on your modern television. I'll be picking
720p over HDMI.
Exactly. It's going to be less than $100. The Retron 3 is $49, so I could see this one being $79 or $89. I will own one on day one. I want one of these so bad. I'm gonna have to contact them to see if they're gonna send out review units in advance of them hitting the market. Even if they're loaner, I just want to try one of them out and play some of my old NES and SNES cartridges. And then I could start collecting games that I can't play on modern systems. So, yay, more things to spend money on.
Oh, you know, preaching to the choir. You know what my shelves look like.
Yeah, exactly. So that's really cool. We'll definitely talk about it when it hits. It was something that I was, I guess, more likely to talk about on the bonus stage. But yeah, if you're into this as well, Steven, we can definitely chat about it here on the Nintendo Pulse as well.
Absolutely.
Because yeah, if you want to play your old NES cartridges, like I found an old cartridge of RC Pro-Am at a used game store, and it was like $5. It's like, oh, I love RC Pro-Am. How can
I'm pretty sure I have that one. That one's is that the one that was made by I'm thinking of Rad Racer.
Right.
I think.
Yeah. Well, RC Pro-Am's pretty common, but $5 was a good price. And the sticker was 100% perfect. There was no tearing, no wearing on the sides like some NES cartridge stickers kind of do. Didn't have the box, but for $5 I had to pick it up. So now I own RC Pro-Am and I'm ready to play it, because that's one game that my buddy had that I never owned, and I was always upset about that one. So now I own RC Pro-Am. So now I have to go find Ducktales and Chippendale Rescue Rangers, because those are also games that my buddy owned. He had all the good games. He had like he had Contra. He had what other games did he have that I was always so upset because I never got them? And then by the time that I had an NES, you couldn't find those games new anymore, because I got it a few years because my parents got me the Sega Master System, which was, they were tucked into from the salesman, because it was the better system, they said, which I guess was the better one that they got more money, the more kickbacks for selling. So maybe it was better for them, but I really wanted an NES so bad when I was a kid. So now I can play all my cartridges. Well, I have an NES, but I have no TV that can actually support it. So I guess that's a bit of a problem.
Yeah, they talked up all the tech that's in this, that, you know, all the ways it's doing. It seems like it's going to be doing everything right. They're talking about 100% compatibility. They're talking about how, you know, when you're rendering an NES game over 720p, instead of they said that normally when an NES renders an NES game on your TV screen, it's made up of these squares, and the squares have spaces between them, and the TV blurs those spaces, which is why the picture is always so blurry.
Right.
So this instead is going to have razor sharp defined squares, pixels. And I mean, that sounds great to me, because that's when I use emulators, that's what I'm using them with, you know, everything really sharp like that.
Right.
And I mean, the fact that you can play NES games at 720p over HDMI is a huge deal, because the Retro Duo had an S video port,
right?
But you couldn't even play NES games over it.
Yeah, exactly.
So it was like, it was
annoying.
So many issues. There have been so many issues with all those clone systems,
right?
And this one, they appear to be doing their best to really knock it out of the park. And they did such a good job with the Retron 3 that, I mean, it just, I'm very excited about it.
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, even just to have something that looks this awesome in your entertainment center is good enough, but it's actually going to be playing the games well, which is even better, I would assume. So yeah, we'll definitely chat more about this when it comes. Hopefully it'll be shipping soon. They say it's most likely going to be released in July, but we'll see. Those release dates from companies like this sometimes slip depending on manufacturing or whatever. But yeah, they unveiled it at the Midwest Gaming Classic. I was looking forward to this date because I saw the teaser that the Retron 4 would be coming out, and I was just about to buy a Retron 3 and then find some way to hook it up to my television through some video conversion box that would take an S-video and go to HDMI or something. Like I was looking at all different ways to hook something like this up, and then I saw the teaser for it, and it was going to have HDMI, and my eyes got really wide like a kid on Christmas. And I'm really happy that this will be coming out very, very soon. So more about the Retron 5 when it actually hits, and we'll definitely sounds like both Steve and I will be talking about it, which is a good thing.
Yeah, I can see myself stuffing, cartridges into all 5 of those slots. Just you can just switch between them. I'm gonna, I have stuff that'll go in for all of those platforms.
Yeah, and it's really cool because you can just from the on screen you can choose what game you're playing, and it even supports save states, so you can just kind of pause the game, save your state, and then go to another game.
Crazy the stuff they're putting in here.
Yeah,
and the interpolation for the audio you're talking about, they're like, oh, we're actually going to improve the sound of the audio. It's like, how do you do that?
Yeah, I don't know. They must have some emulator programmers working for them. Like some of the big emulators that came up back in the day, they were doing some really amazing things. They must have hired a bunch of those guys to come work for them. And
this is what I figure. I figure it's basically got like something along the lines of a Raspberry Pi inside that case, and then a bunch of emulators running on it, and their own operating system. For sure. Because all of this stuff has to be being done with software, because there's no way they've got chips for all these different things.
They're not gonna put 5 like system on a chips, SoCs inside this box and loosely wire them together and hope that the OS is able to talk to all these little pieces of hardware. They might have some hardware stuff, like maybe some of the FM chips, so they can really produce the sound just by talking directly to like one of the original chips that's on the hardware, maybe. But I would think it's just like an ARM processor with a heck of a lot of RAM and just some emulators that are running on it. It would make the most sense to me. Yeah. But very cool. One other thing that I forgot to mention, when I bought Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon, it was part of the Nintendo's promotion where if you buy a 3DS XL and one of the 2 games, Luigi's Mansion or the Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, you would get a free game as a digital download. So I had bought a 3DS XL, but I was saving my Club Nintendo code because I wanted to use it in July rather, once the new year of Club Nintendo starts up, because I want to get Elite next year, because I'm already Elite this year. No point wasting it. But this promotion came up, so I had to use it. And immediately once I downloaded Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon, the next morning, I guess earlier than the next morning, it was when I woke up, I went to my Club Nintendo account and it already showed Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon, and then it had the little button that says click here to claim your free game. So I did that, and I got the download code for Professor Layton, and it could not have been easier. Like, Nintendo's
that's great.
They're understanding internet, which is really, I don't know if it's concerning to you, Steven, but it's really sort of scaring me because this is Nintendo, and they wouldn't admit that the internet existed for many years. It was just this thing that they would not talk about. You would mention it at a press conference, and everybody would, like, these guys in black coats would come grab you and take you out of the arena, and then they would just say, no, just pay no attention to what that guy just asked. And now they're understanding internet stuff. It's pretty damn amazing, and it couldn't have been any less painless. It was a pretty good promotion. So if you haven't already, I believe you have until the April 20th is the date that's popping in my head. That's probably not right, but it's somewhere around there, to pick up a new 3DS XL and one of those two games, Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon or the Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, and then you can download one of 5 games for free. The Professor Layton is the one that I picked, but you can also get Super Mario 3D Land, Star Fox 64. There's that drawing program that I can't remember what the name of it is ever, and then there's Freaky Forms Deluxe, which is a game that's only $20 in stores, so I probably wouldn't waste my free download on that one. Get one of the games that is full price still. But yeah, you buy a game and you buy your 3DS XL, which you're probably already going to do anyway. If you want to upgrade, you're already going to buy a game with it, and you get a game for free. Pretty good promotion from Nintendo. I really hope they keep doing things like this to really kind of, I don't know, drive home that Nintendo's here to support their game players and their customers. Because I think that's one thing that could win them a lot of PR with the whole Wii U debacle that's happening.
Yeah.
All right, Steven, I think that's about do it for the show.
Sure.
All right.
That works.
Guys, we love to hear from you. As I said at the start of the show, head on over to vgpodcast.com and click contact us at the top of the page. You can send us an email there, or you can email us directly at vgpodcast@gmail.com. We have forums up. A lot of people there that love to talk gaming, so please drop by and chat with us. You can sign in with your Facebook or Twitter logins. You don't even have to remember another username or password. And then you can comment on the posts on VG Podcasts and also talk with other gamers as well. We have a voicemail line, 505 VG Podcasts. It's with things like the Facebook app on your iPhone or Android device, or even Gmail, you can make free long-distance phone calls. This is a U.S. number, so you can make free long-distance phone calls in the U.S. with those apps. Call, leave us a voicemail, and hopefully we'll play it on a future episode of the, Nintendo Pulse podcast. I forgot the name for a second there, Steven. I think we've been doing this for too long in this episode.
You gotta keep it together, man. You got a touch of gaming coming up.
Yeah, I know. I got a TOG coming up in a few minutes. So wow, my brain. I need to focus. All right, guys. Thanks for joining us yet again for Nintendo Pulse, and we'll talk to you next week. Take it easy. Thanks again, Steven, for joining me.
Hey, my pleasure.
All right, here we go. See you guys next week.